Hey guys, how's it going? It's Target here. Welcome back to another episode of the Tampa Bay Lightning Be a GM. Alright, so I got a couple of some feedback from you guys, and a lot of you wanted me to trade Sidney Crosby. Now, normally I would be against that, because you know what? Our players are really starting to come into their own right now, and we have an opportunity here to have a really good year. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you what people were talking about, and I'll go to trade players, and we'll throw Sid the Kid on the block, alright, Sidney Crosby. And the trade that they wanted was with the Winnipeg Jets, all right? They want Sidney Crosby, so that's a big plus for us. Some teams don't, like Anaheim, Buffalo. Like, some teams don't want Sidney Crosby. But Winnipeg is one of them, and that's the team that we've been dealing with. Now, the players in question are Mark Scheifele. All right, the reason why, look at Mark Scheifele when we take a look here. Look at his passing, 96 overall, and his puck control is really good at 94 as well. Decent face-offs as well, 70 overall. That is not bad at all. The only problem with him is his skating ability and his physical side is not nearly as good as Sidney Crosby, but his offensive awareness is 91, so that will help him a lot on that top line. And you know what? His shooting category is also really good as well. Look at his wrist shot power up there at 97. His poise will come a little bit more. He's at 75 right now. We'll weigh that against Sidney Crosby, and you'll see Sidney Crosby's poise is 90. Like, that kind of player brings the ability to calm his teammates and just be a better player. His skating is better. His physical side is much better. His defensive awareness is super high. He really is like our bread and butter right now. So Sidney Crosby, well, he hasn't produced so far. I mean, 74 points is an increase. If we compare that to Mark Scheifele, let's see what Scheifele's doing. So he had 69 points last year, all right? So I don't know. But anyways, Mark Scheifele was the first one. The second one, and the main target of this trade, was Byron Hutchinson, sorry. Byron Hutchinson was the first overall draft pick by the Winnipeg Jets this past year. He's 4.5 yellow star defensive defenseman. This kid's going to be huge. I mean, his body checking is already at 92, and his defensive awareness is also at that level. Decent shot, but you know what? Byron Hutchinson is actually a good option for us too. With Victor Hedman and Dougie Hamilton and Zach Bogosian all in the system as two-way defensemen, one of those players could easily be traded. Could easily be traded away, not necessarily in this deal, but it could definitely make an impact. Now, the only problem with this is, and sorry, the other player was also Nick Petan. All right, Nicholas Petan is a center playmaker with 76 faceoffs, and he's 4 yellow stars, so he will get there quicker than you expect. He'll probably be about 80 overall by the time the season starts next year. So he could be, you know, a third-line option or a fourth-line option if we want to, you know, have that ability. And then the year after that, he would replace Valtteri Filppula. So I like to see that you guys are thinking towards the future with our team. It's nice to see that. And you know what? Sometimes you can have too much of a good thing, and Sidney Crosby might be too much of a good thing. But I'd like to give them one more year. Just one more year to see how things go, okay? But the other player in this deal that we would need to make this go through with, because of the salary cap at 2.2, so they still have a problem there. Like, they need a deficit of $2.2 million. Now, we could ask for a player like Jacob Trouba, who's 4 yellow stars, a two-way defenseman, 78 overall. He's a young and blossoming player. Or we can ask for a top player who's got about the same trade value. How about Evander Kane? Now, the only problem with this, and this would bring us into the right zone, the only problem with this is the fact that Evander Kane, or that they don't want to get rid of any of these players. Now, do these 4 guys add up to Sidney Crosby's value? Absolutely. We'd be almost giving up, we would have to give up another player in order to get these 4. Because you're talking a 4.5 yellow star, 4.5 yellow star, 4 green star, 4.5 yellow star. Is Sidney Crosby worth 3 4.5 yellow stars and 1 4 green star? I don't know. That's a lot of value on there. I would probably take Nick Petan off because he is not part. I mean, okay, hold on. Let's throw Nick Petan on there, and we've taken off what's his name? Now let's throw like Jacob Trouba on there. All right, this still won't go through because of the cap. All right, you do need to find a $2.2 million player. So let's sort this by salary. You'd be looking at Devin Setoguchi, a third-line sniper who really has no place being on this team. His value is so low. I don't see myself picking up him. Mark Stewart, a defensive defenseman, not really somebody looking forward to that I want to have. Little, all right, Brian Little, a playmaking center. He would basically displace one of our center players like Jarrett Stoll, and that's not something I really want to do. Matt Carl, again, we had him before and we traded him away. It looks like he ended up here in Winnipeg. And Matt Carl or we traded him to Winnipeg, sorry, for that was in the Zach Bogosian deal. But again, that's adding somebody that we don't really need for this. So I don't know what you guys think about that. Do we make a move like that? And let me just take Trouba off. Do we make this move? And then we have to take somebody back that's got, you know, a cap hit. Like, let's see who's got the fewest years. Jacob Trouba, still not enough. Matt Halischuk, he's a left wing to a forward. He'd play the third line, but again, that displaced Kirby Reichel. So you end up with all kinds of these problems. We could retain a bit of salary from Sidney Crosby, but the problem with that would be is that Sidney Crosby has 9 years left on his contract, and we'd have to retain $2 million worth of salary to make this work. Watch. Okay, it's green now. Hold on, red. It's interesting. We'd only have to retain about $300,000 worth of cap hit, so it's not that bad. But again, that could plague us 9 years from now. 300,000. I mean, 300,000 is peanuts, but that would make this go through. 300,000, and then where's the values at? I think that we could even squeeze something more out of this. But that's the trade that was offered up there. Now, another option that we might have if we do decide to go this way, I was taking a look and scouting it out. Let's go to Florida. All right. So if we did want to move Sidney Crosby, where's Florida? Here we go. Florida. Oh, that's Edmonton. Florida. There's Alexander Barkov as well. Again, another centerman, playmaker, and he's a big body. Look at his passing at 96, hand-eye at 93. Really good shot category. But again, not as fast, not as physical. Good defensive awareness this time. Decent offensive awareness, and his face-offs are a little bit better. So there's also Barkov. But if we were looking for future, so let's say we throw Barkov on there, again, look at the value. It's really high. We wouldn't be able to get much more out of this, especially if we wanted to pick up a defenseman. Now, that defenseman might be Eric Goodbranson, so that would be who we'd go after. So let's throw Eric Goodbranson on there. Now, they want Sidney Crosby, but they don't want to get rid of these two young studs, and we could probably squeeze somebody more out of this. I don't know who it is, but let me know what you guys think. Do we make that move with Sidney Crosby? Do we downsize and see what we can get that way? Or do we just go to, or do we just keep what we got here? So what I'm going to do right now is, I can't remember if I edited the lines. Yeah, I've got Drouin and Kucherov. I want to start them on the top line to see how this goes. If we need to, we can switch them around. Just, you know, jumble up the lines. Hagelin and Filppula and Yakupov are all going to play together. If I find this top line is dynamite and I want to keep that line, I may add another sniper. I may want to move Hagelin, all right? So that might be an option for us as well, all right? Obviously, we've got a nice little assortment here. Reichel, Stoll, and Pallet. That's a nice line. I like that. That does go together with the team. Now, another thing that I forgot to mention when I've been doing these GMs is the importance of poise. And poise is higher among players with white stars. So Sidney Crosby for sure, 90 poise. Okay, now let's take a look at Jonathan Drouin. He's not far off in overall, but poise is only 65. All right, now let's take a look at Sheriff. Probably the same thing, 70. So a little bit higher because he's 23 years old. Filppula, he's about 32. His poise is 80. So he brings a bit of a balance to the team, a little bit of maturity. Nail Yakupov, let's take a look at his line mate. So only 75 poise, but 5 poise off is not bad at all, actually. Carl Hagelin, his poise will be a little bit higher, 75 as well. So poise comes with being an elite player as well as a veteran. Jarrett Stoll's going to have really good poise, 85 poise. That's because Jarrett Stoll has been around forever. He's well, not forever, but he's 34 years old. You know what? He brings some grit. And that's one thing I think that's very important for every line is to have somebody who has some poise, like in the mid to high 70s, 80s, even 90s if you can. Those are the guys that are going to anchor your line. If you look at my defense, I don't have that on any of these lines. All these guys are really young. Keith Ollie, Nikita Zadorov, Justin Schultz, Victor Hedman, Dougie Hamilton, and Zach Bogosian. It's not to say they're bad players, but somebody with higher poise might... Well, Zach Bogosian's at 80, so that's not bad. He's about to max out. So probably does Justin Schultz, to be honest. 75. Look at that defensive awareness. My goodness, 97. No kidding. Let's keep him. But... I think it's important to have a vet on every line. Now, that's not something we've had in the past. We've had Dana Tyrell and what's-his-name anchoring the third and fourth lines respectively, and you know what? They don't bring that veteran presence now. Now we've got a veteran presence at every single line here. Every single line. Including the top line, which is unbelievably high at 90. So... I think I'm going to give this year a shot like we have it here. Hamilton and Bogosian, Hedman and Schultz, Ollie and Zadorov, all right? And then let's take a look at our power play. Druin and Kucherov. No, you don't want to do that. You want to move like this. We'll put Hagelin up there with Crosby and Kucherov, and then we'll put Yakupov with Filppula and Druin. All right, we'll get them moving around. Justin Schultz, Dougie Hamilton, Bogosian, and Hedman. Take out the 4-man power play. Sidney Crosby and Jonathan Drouin, Filppula and Kucherov. And then penalty kill, Sidney Crosby and Drouin. What's Drouin's defensive awareness at? I think it's pretty high. Yeah, 93. So he is a good player to have up there. If I find that he's not doing as well this year, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch him out with maybe... Let's see here. Let's take a look at the lines. What's Pallett's offensive awareness at, or defensive awareness? 85. That's pretty good for a penalty kill, especially if I put him alongside Sidney Crosby. Jarrett Stoll is anchoring that. Perfect. I like that. Crosby and Stoll. Yep. 4-on-4. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to switch Crosby and Stoll around like this, and we'll do it like that. Just balance it out a little bit more. Jarrett Stoll, because he's got, what, 90 defensive awareness? 85, sorry. 85 defensive awareness. And then that'll go with Druin's 93. Crosby has 90. 93 as well. And Reichel, 88. So that's really good. Okay, I like that. That way, Sidney Crosby as well can play the top line and then come on and play a penalty rest and then play a penalty kill instead of going back to back to back. Yep, Yakupov on the third line. Crosby and Drouin are our second skaters. I guess so. Typically, I like to have somebody from the second line, so I'm going to find... Let's put on Yakupov, I suppose. Put Yakupov out there. He'll be the clutch guy for the second line. Hellenius and Gibson. I know, guys, we need a goaltender, but you know what? We're going to see how we do without this. All right, so the lines are set here in Tampa Bay. Oh, I should have done the edit lines in the AHL. So we got Killorn, Riala, Pumpel. Okay, so we got all our guys down here set to go. Defense. Perfect. Is anybody scratched that shouldn't be? Bookaboom, 3 yellow stars. I'm just looking for people that are like 4.5 yellow, or sorry, 3.5 yellow, or anything like that are scratched. It looks like they're all playing this time though, so that is nice to see. Our goaltending, do we have any good goalies? Yeah, Pascal, 80 overall goalie. How old is he? 25 years old. He could get there as a nice backup option for Gibson too. And we've also got Holowenko. So our our goaltending situation here in the AHL is actually really strong. I like to see that. So let's get this season underway. Let's get through the preseason first off. But yeah, don't forget to let me know what you guys think about that trade. Either I do it, I think the 2 times to do it. Let's do the scout assignment first, and I'll tell you what I think. Let's see here. We have a first-round pick this year, so that is nice. Is there any top 5? Okay, so we'll scout the St. Jacques here for the first week. What was I gonna say? Shoot, I forgot. Lost my train of thought. Oh, I think that what we should do is either... We need to do it before things kick over, all right? So that will be basically... I mean, we have to do it before the next beginning of the season. So during the off season or something like that would be the ideal time for us to do that, right? Reason being is players, yellow players, they kick up at that point. Versus green players, they seem to go during the season and during the off season really well. So... I think because all the players in question would all be, you know, yellow players, we wouldn't have an issue. There wouldn't be an issue about them getting too high and their trade value going way, 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 way up. I think this time next year, they'll still be about the same. Okay, so we're 3-3-0 right now through the preseason. Not exactly the strongest start, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Okay, so it's a 3-0 loss. All right. So this is coming down to goaltending, I think, a lot of it. But I'm going to give it a month. We'll see how we do here. We'll see how we do. Maybe I readjust my idea of what I should do and just concede a little bit more for 1 more year. All right. We can also jumble the lines here. Remember, I always go about 2 months before I make any major changes. But things might change quickly here. I want to check the queue forwards. Actually, let's scout by... Yeah, that was what we want to go by. The queue. What did he end up being? So they just got him as a first rounder right now. And this is probably where things start to even out a little bit. Like, they don't actually say what... well, there's a few first rounders in in Finland. So we'll scout Finland for a little bit. Go up to the first against Minnesota. All right. All right, let's get the season underway. I'm really excited to get this one. The other thing that's nice about Sidney Crosby, I mean, he's a 95 overall player with $7.9 million cap hit. How much better could you want that? That's insane. That's crazy. That's such a good deal. But, you know what? It may end up being that we do make that trade because maybe we do have too much of a good thing. There we go. So that was a big win there for us. We're back back at 500. Let's get a little win streak going here. It'd be nice to see some progress. There's a 5-4 win. It feels it'll be a good year for rookies. So maybe this is also the year that I get rid of guys that I'm not going to use for first overall draft picks. So before we keep going, there's a 7-3 win. Wow. All right. GM options. Let's go to trade negotiations, and let's see who's willing to get rid of their first round pick. Some teams are, some teams aren't. So Anaheim is, and we have really good rep with Anaheim. Now the question for them is, who do they want to get rid of? All right. And we need to find somebody that has value, yeah, decent value, or 2 players that we're never going to use that have value. Karan. What's the deal with Karan? Defensive defenseman, 3.5 yellow stars. You know what? Karan could definitely be used. Zadorov, I like. Ernie, I like. So I would have to move somebody that I like, Karan, and I would have to move somebody else, I suppose. A goalie. Where's goalies? Nobody. There's nobody here really that I'm gonna want to part ways with. So I don't know that I can make that trade, to be honest. Yeah, I don't really have the assets at the moment to do that. So I thought I could, but you know what? We do have that first pick, and if we do need to make a trade, we will at the trade on draft day. So we'll see what's available first during the year. See what kind of players they are. All right, Columbus. There's another win, 4-2. Druin has 6 goals through 5 games. Kucherov has 9 assists. Somebody might be onto something with the fact that they need to all play together. Kucherov, Druin, and Crosby. But it's very early yet. Let's not jump the gun. We need to keep our feet underneath us here and keep our heads level. There's a 2-1 win. Nice little streak going. So since we lost the first one, we've won 6 in a row to start this season. Florida up next. They're a strong team. And a 3-1 win. So it looks like our goaltending is holding them off. We're only letting in a goal per game. And it looks like Sidney Crosby and Kucherov are both, you know, playing the playmaker on that top line, alternating the leading scorers. There's a loss there, only our second one. So through 1 month, I must say, 7-2-0 is definitely not something to be upset with. If you look, Hellenius is actually first in wins. Where is he in goals against the save percentage? Neither of them. But in points, you'll see Kucherov and Crosby are both up there with 13 points through 9 games. Very nice to see that. And then assists, Kucherov and Crosby both have 10. So they both have 10 goals and 3 assists. That's really good to see. All right, so let's go up to, now let's do another month here. We got time for another month. Maybe not enough time to analyze. Oh, a 5-1 loss. Okay, not a very good result in that one, but you know what? That's going to happen with the goaltending. We're going to have problems from time to time. We need John Gibson to be better. Oh, 4-2 loss again. Okay, hold on. I'm stopping that sim right there before we get too far ahead here. Jonathan Drouin hasn't scored in a long time now. I mean, we're 11 games in. He was 6-5, and now he is now, what is he at now? 6-11. So that's not good at all. He hasn't scored in 5 games. Or 6 games. There's a 2-1 win. Thank you very much. And we're going to stop the scouting there. It looks like, from what I saw. Okay, so we got a lot of first-round picks. First-rounders here in the Elite. So we're going to go there. Kucherov now has 6 goals, so he's put together a little bit of a streak here, him and Crosby. I have no problem with, you know, having droughts between Kucherov and Drouin, as long as they're not both having droughts at the same time. If they can keep up this level of play, then we'll be golden. Sidney Crosby with 13 assists on the year. This is Colorado. They're a very weak team from the looks of things, so let's see if we can beat them here. There's a 4-1 win, and Drouin got himself a goal. New Jersey now, they're strong, 11-1-1. Unbelievable. That's a really good start for them, and a 5-2 win for us, so we'll hand them their second regulation loss of the year. All right, now we got San Jose. They got Logan Couture up there still, and a 4-3 win. So our offense came through for us when the D and the goaltending just couldn't get the job done. Even though, you know what, the goaltending and the defense has been really solid this year. I mean, there was a patch of games there where it was only 1 goal against, and that's incredible, especially when your goalie's only 84 overall. All right, Boston now, they're 8-4-4. So they're no team to be messed with, and they beat us 4-2. All right, Drouin now has 11 goals through 17 games, and there's another win for us. LA up next, 12-4-3 right now. They're a strong team, and a 5-1 win. We kicked the shit out of them. Sidney Crosby gets his 19th assist in 19 games. He's still averaging over a point per game. All right, things are going well. I know guys want to see me make trades and do things like that, but the fact of the matter is, oh, there's a 3-2 win over the Winnipeg Jets, the team that you guys want me to make a deal with. Nashville Predators up next. They're 6-10-2. They're a very weak team and a shutout for us. Perfect. And Jonathan Drouin gets his 12th goal of the year. Sidney Crosby with 20 assists through 21 games. Edmonton will be the last game of the month for us, and we lose that one 4-2. Let's quickly look through the stats. We're not up there for goals against or save percentage. Points, Kucherov and Crosby both have 25 points through, 22 games. So very good result there. Hellenius with the most wins in the league at 12. Drouin is up there for goals with 12. He's only 4 off of the lead, which is Blake Wheeler. That's really good to see. And Sidney Crosby is in 3rd for assists. We will come back with the next episode, and we'll take a look at the stats through the first 2 months, including power plays and penalty kills, if we need to adjust anything. Right now, it's looking pretty good. 15-7-0 through those first 22 games. Nice to see that. So until next time, I'm going to leave it there. Don't forget to get back to me on the Sidney Crosby for Mark Scheifele, Byron Hutchinson, possibly Evander Kane, Nick Patan, etc., etc. Let me know what you guys think about that trade, and then we'll address that probably in the offseason, maybe sooner, depending on how the rest of this year goes. So until next time, I'm Target Audience. You guys have a good one.